Welcome to Cliburn Kids. I'm Buddy Bray. I'm your host for Cliburn Kids, and we come to you, as always, from the Steinway Piano Gallery in downtown Fort Worth. We have a very special visitor to the gallery this afternoon, and his name is Kenny Broberg.
Performing for a big audience is a lot of practice, a lot of strengthening yourself, and mentally really getting focused. I hope that everyone will enjoy the music.
He's going to play the piano for you in just a minute, but I thought we'd take a few minutes to talk to him about what he does for a living and how it all started. Kenny, welcome to Cliburn Kids.
Yeah, thanks.
How old were you when you started to play the piano?
I was around 6 years old. I actually started on the violin first, but I started the piano a little bit after that, and I liked the piano a lot more. So.
Why? Why did you like the piano better than the violin?
Well, it's a lot easier to make a good sound on the piano when you're not very good. You know, with the violin you have to like use the string, and it can sound really squeaky. And also, you know, when you're young, you're using like a violin that's like 1/16 the size of a real violin, so it sounds even worse then. Not saying that you shouldn't, you know, take up the violin. Violin's great, but
takes a little bit longer to make a decent sound.
That's true.
On the violin. Okay. When you were a kid, how much did you practice?
I don't know. I think I think it depended on the day. You know, whether there was other stuff going on. You know, like school or sports but I think like 2.5 hours when I was like 8 or 10 years old, and then slowly started to ramp it up.
So let's talk about that a minute, about when you fit all that in and how you could do that, because you were going to school like a regular kid, right? So you've got all this other going on. You've got 2 hours of piano to do, and you were involved in sports, did you say? What did you do? What kind of sports did you play?
I played baseball, mostly. A little bit of hockey, but mostly baseball.
Great. Yeah. So when did the practicing happen? You had a normal school day, right? So you got up in the morning?
Yeah. Well, I was homeschooled until high school. So, but in high school, yeah, it got much more difficult to practice. I think I practiced less in high school than any other time in my life. But before, I wasn't really, I was homeschooled, so I had a lot more time.
So did you play baseball and hockey all through school too? Wow. So did you ever think that maybe you wanted to play baseball for a living instead of playing piano for a living?
Well, I was realistic enough to know what I was good at, so I was a lot better at piano than baseball.
And you still practice a whole lot, right?
Oh yeah, I practice a lot.
Great. So can we talk you into playing something for us?
I would love to.
Okay, tell us what you're going to play for us.
So I'm going to play a little piece by Nikolai Medtner, who was a Russian composer who lived about 100 years ago. And the piece I'm going to play is, well, it has a couple different names, but it's most commonly known as Primavera, which means springtime. So this piece sounds a lot like spring.
How do you make the piano sound like spring? Or how did Mr. Medtner make the piano sound like spring?
Well, why don't I show you?
Okay. Before you show me, I want to know, since you have two hands, right, you can do two different things on the keyboard at the same time, right?
Right.
So are both your hands working equally hard all the time in this?
It depends. Most of the time I'm focusing on the right hand, because the right hand is the melody. And then the left hand actually has more notes, but the notes kind of fill in the harmony. So each individual note isn't really quite as important, and I try to keep them a lot softer so to bring out the melody.
Great. So if there's one thing that we could tell our viewers to listen for in this piece, what would it be?
I think the character. I think it's pretty obvious that it's kind of a more upbeat piece. It's got a very positive, beautiful kind of romantic notion of springtime. And I think that really comes across.
And he's going to play it for us now. This is Primavera by Nikolai Medtner. Please enjoy the playing of Kenny Broberg, who is the silver medalist in the 2017 edition of the Van Cliburn International Piano Competition. Here he is. That's our friend Kenny Broberg playing a piece by Nikolai MEDTNER called Primavera. Kenny, the first thing I noticed while you were playing was that sometimes it was your right hand that was the busiest, and sometimes it was your left hand that was the busiest. What are you actually thinking about when you're playing the piano, when you're playing a piece like this? What's going through your head?
Well, there's a couple things. I gotta be listening as much as possible, and trying to like react to the sound that's coming out of the piano, and then I kind of got to try to match it up to what I want the piece to sound like. So you're kind of listening in a couple different ways. You're listening to what comes out, but you're also listening like in your mind to what you want it to sound like, and you try to make the two match up as close as possible.
What about this piece? And can I just ask you why you chose it? What was attractive about it? What made you hear the piece and think, I've got to learn that piece and play it myself?
Well, I think it's a good encore piece.
What is an encore?
So, sometimes after I get done playing a concert, if I'm lucky enough, they clap, and I come back on stage, and sometimes I play a little bonus piece.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for playing that bonus piece for us today.
Well, thank you.
Thanks so much for watching Cliburn Kids. I'm Buddy Bray, your host. Really happy to have Kenny Broberg with us today. We have a lot more content on our website at cliburn.org/kids, about 50 more episodes of Cliburn Kids, by the way. And we will see you soon. Thanks for watching.